Welcome everyone to Flight Simulator 2024. I'm super excited for today's video because I didn't expect to be doing a flight like this in the new simulator this soon. So today we're going to be doing a 4 to 6 hour flight from Los Angeles, California to Miami, Florida in this United Airlines Boeing 737-900 by PMDG. But the reason I'm so excited today is because PMDG hasn't released the specific plane for Flight Simulator 2024 yet. So it took a bit of modding on my end to get this to work, but so far everything seems to be working pretty smoothly. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing started up and headed towards Miami. Okay, so the plane is set up as if it just came back from doing a flight, so I'm going to go ahead and start the turnaround checklist. So that's going to start with me programming the flight into the plane from the FMC, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Alright, I got the flight plan loaded into the plane. Now it's time to start interfacing with the panels. Right now I need to get the APU turned on. So fuel pump forward number 1 on. APU start. APU generator left and right switches on. APU and engine bleeds on. AC voltmeter set to APU. Master caution disengaged. Altimeter set. Initial altitude set. So cruising altitude 35,000. Heading set to takeoff runway. Elevator trim set, so it's 5.63. Alright, speed set. Need to set it to the V2 speed. V2 is 155. Fuel pumps all on. Cross feed pump check. Alright, it's operational. Wing and engine anti-ice as required. We don't need that. Hydraulic pumps all on. Flight altitude set. Our cruising altitude is 35,000, so it's already set to 35,000. Landing altitude set, 50 feet, and Miami is sea level, so we don't need to change it. Flight director is on. LNAV and VNAV on. Auto brake set to RTO. Alright, remove all ground connections. Alright, ground connections are removed. Doors are closed. Let's remove the jetway. Alright, pre-flight's complete. Let's go ahead and start the before start checklist. So parking brake set. Anti-collision light on. Lower display unit set to engine. Alright, now we need to request our pushback.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes, please.
Release to parking brakes.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright, let's go ahead and get engine 1 started. Left engine fuel control on.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Okay, starting engine 2.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Alright, right engine fuel control on. Okay, engine start checklist complete. Let's begin the before taxi checklist. Generator engine switches left and right on. AC voltmeter selector generator 1. APU off. APU bleed off. Packs left and right on. Probe heat on. Flaps 5. Trim verify set. Trim 5.63, and we have it set to 5.63. Flight controls free and correct. Lower display unit off. Taxi lights on. I'll go ahead and turn off this light. Alright, disable parking brake. Give it some power. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm absolutely loving the new flight sim. It's performing way better than 2020 did, and I'm just shocked I'm able to use the PMDG planes in it so soon. Like I mentioned, I did have to do some tweaking to make them work, and they are kind of finicky. Some of the animations don't work properly, like the elevators and some of the ailerons, but outside of that, it works pretty much perfect. You just got to be very careful, you know, as you should be when flying it normally, but outside of that, you know, if you handle it with a lot of care, the plane will, you know, fly perfectly. So, you know, I'm pleasantly surprised by that, but mainly it's just the simulator being more intact graphic wise, the clouds being better, the grass rendering out farther. It just seems more intact, which is something I've been looking for and everyone's been looking for, really. But almost all of the add-ons from the previous simulator that I've used in this one have worked with no issues, which is a pleasant surprise. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds with this simulator. So something I don't normally do that I am trying right now is the new NVIDIA frame gen. So I am using a 3090 right now, which isn't technically supported, but I have found some software hacks that allow me to effectively gain the ability to use that technology. So it's a little bit buggy, but so far it looks absolutely amazing in the simulator, and it definitely needs it. Even though the simulator performs better now, it still has its performance issues, but the FrameGen definitely seems to make things a lot more smooth and get rid of those little jitters and stutters you would see normally with, you know, movements like this. But it does create some artifacts when taking off in the window area over here, but other than that, I don't really see many issues with it, which is surprising, very surprising. Alright, 4 takeoff checklists. Parking brake set. Auto throttle arm. And I armed it when we were taxiing. Center fuel pumps as required. Anti-ice as required. Cabin lights as required. Everything's all set. Flight instruments look good. Engine instruments look good. Brake temp. Brakes look good. Takeoff data V1. Rotate, V2 speeds check. They all look good. Landing lights on. Position lights strobe and ready. Runway turn-off lights on. Taxi light off. Clock start. Parking brake off. Alright, let's go ahead and get on the runway. We are lined up. Engine stable. Takeoff thrust set.
V1.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Alright, plane's climbing out. Alright, we have passed 10,000 feet, so we need to go ahead and set the barometric pressure to standard. and turn off the landing lights. Didn't have the wing lights on. So yeah, once you're up in the air, you can kind of immediately tell the difference between Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. It's very, very apparent where the changes have been made, just like the water, how there's different textures, the terrain out farther in the distance looks a lot clearer, clouds. I'm not gonna lie, I expected them to be a little darker, but you know, there's a lot of different ray casting, ray tracing going on, so there's complex geometry kind of telling it to be brighter. So I assume it being bright early on was because of something like that, but you know, everything looks very, very good, and is running very good. But alongside that, the PMDG 737 is running really good right now too, so it handled the departure and the climb out amazingly. So I'm going to continue to let it climb out on its own, and I'll go ahead and check in with you guys once we hit our cruising altitude. Alright, we have hit our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, so the plane is handling itself amazingly right now. We also have a tailwind for now, so we should be getting there pretty soon. So it looks like we will be getting there in 4 hours. So it's 6 a.m. here right now, and it should take us about like 4 hours to get there. So it should be around like 12 to 1 p.m. when we get to Miami. But anyway, this should be an absolutely gorgeous flight ahead of us. So I'll go ahead and check in with you guys when we are getting close to the top of descent near Miami. Alright, so we've been flying for about 4 hours, and we are approaching our top of descent, and we need to do our 40 nautical miles before top of descent checklist. So right now we need to get the altimeter set up. So the barometric pressure at the airport is 3016, so I'm going to go ahead and preset that in the plane right now. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set up the approach. Okay, so I got the plane descending down towards Miami, but the Simulator actually just completely bugged out and then crashed, so I had to basically restart the flight and get it back to where it was. So I believe we're like three and a half hours in now. But yeah, right now we are descending down to Miami. The VNav isn't really working, so I'm gonna kind of manually guide the autopilot down to Miami. But so far, things are looking okay for the landing. Pretty mad that I lost all my progress pretty much, but we should still be able to make it down to Miami without any sort of serious issues. But anyway, once we get closer to the airport, I will check in with you guys to let you know what's going on. Okay, so I was able to get the VNav programmed. I just needed to add the weight data to the FMC, which is usually done before the flight starts, but went ahead and added it, got the VNav and everything going, and the plane is flying just as it would if the simulator didn't run into any issues. So right now we're at 14,000 feet. Next thing I'm going to do is set the barometric pressure to what it is at the airport once we hit 10,000, alongside turning on our landing lights. But it looks like, yeah, we are hitting some turbulent winds right now. Alright, we are approaching our transition altitude, so I'm going to go ahead and change our barometric pressure to what it is at the airport. And I'm going to go ahead and drop our landing lights. It looks like the plane's having a hard time slowing down. I'm going to go ahead and apply some speed brakes. Yeah, I can already tell this is going to be a bit of a difficult landing. Disengaging speed brakes. I'm going to go ahead and drop the flaps. Flaps 1. I'm going to go ahead and arm the speed brakes. Okay, we should start seeing the airport pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set the next altitude, 2,000, for the next waypoint. Flaps 5. Alright, approach mode enabled. Alright, flaps 10. I'm going to go ahead and drop our gear. Flaps 15. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fly the plane. My plane. Flaps 25. Jeez, some crazy wind. Alright, flaps 30.
1,000.
Glide slope. 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 Glide slope.
All right.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
One 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
A little bit of bounce there. All right, 80 knots. All right, welcome to Miami. Speed brakes down. Flaps up. Lane lights off. Taxi light on. APU on. Strobe lights off. Wing light off. Auto brake off. Wow, this is a really nice airport. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this flight. The plane's frozen. I can't really do shutdown procedures. So, you know, hopefully I don't have to deal with this issue anymore soon. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next video.